be teaching them, what curriculum they should know. Even as a babysitter, when I started out, there was no curriculum for, what they should be learning, what they're capable of learning. So I thought, when I want to have kids, I want to have something I can follow, and I want to know, make sure my child is hitting their milestones and a little further, because the milestones that they have for our children nowadays are so very low, and children can learn so much more. They're so much more capable of what these milestones have for them. So that's why this was created, because parenting does not come with an educational guide. Not saying this is an educational guide, but it is the start. So who am I? I'm Taniqua Purdy, like I already mentioned. I'm a professional nanny. I've been in the child care field business for about 12 years. I started when I was 13 years old, actually, but, obviously wasn't professional. I was working at my family's in-home daycare centers, and then they opened up a daycare center, then I worked there, and then, so yeah, that's where it starts for me, for when I was 13 to now I'm 30, so a while. I got a bachelor's in psychology, a master's degree in couples, family, and marital therapy. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm also a behavior specialist, and my Instagram is right there, so make sure you pause that right now. Follow Taniqua Purdy Education, EDU. I had to shorten it because education was too long, but yes, pause it, follow that. Also, get out your notebooks, pens, notes if you take notes on your phone, something, because there's going to be a lot of value given in this course, and it makes no sense in taking the course if you can't retain any of the information, right? So this is an interactive course, guys, so don't think we're just going to be sitting around and I'm just going to be talking. So there will be times I'll ask you to pause, take out your notes and write down things, think about certain things. So please follow what I'm telling you so you can actually have the time to think, okay? All right, so what will be covered in this course? You'll learn how to recognize what kind of learner your kid is. Auditory, visual, kinesthetic. Do they have a long attention span? Do they work better independently? Or do they work better by performing? That part right there is very, very important, because I see that, when I started out, I did not know that, there were different ways children could learn. I mean, I understood that. I always thought that they weren't interested, and they didn't like to learn, or they couldn't sit still, but there's reasons for that, because they're not interested in the way you're teaching them. So that right there is very, very important to understand. Then you will also be able to understand how to create a routine that works for you and your lifestyle, or the child's lifestyle. What time do they wake up? What time do they get hungry? What time do they like to play? What time do they need to take a nap? And then finally, you'll be able to understand how to create an educational curriculum. And this is beneficial for the child's growth. It's very, very beneficial, actually, because if you don't have this, you don't know what you're following. You're doing anything at all. And that's exactly how I started. For years, I was just doing anything. I wasn't keeping track of anything, but I was seeing progress. I was seeing results. So then that led me to create something that I could follow. I started writing down in my notebook, every day, what time we did this, what we introduced this day, how long it took them to learn this skill. So after that, then I was like, well, maybe I could turn this into like a system that actually works, all right? So that's what will be covered. Who is this course for? I know you're like, I don't know if this course is for me. It might have been a gift someone got for you. It might have been something you purchased because you want your children to learn, right? You want to invest in your child. So this course is for parents who need help getting their children in the swing of education and learning before preschool. I know it's hard, as a parent, trying to, take care of the child and then also have to educate them on top of that. Yeah, that's a whole nother level. So that's for those people. This is for babysitters who aren't sure what to do while babysitting, as I mentioned. For nannies who aren't sure what to do and how to implement an educational schedule. For daycare teachers who aren't sure what toddlers are capable of learning before preschool. For children ages between 1 to 5, I would say. A baby shower gift, an educator's gift. We need to normalize gifting our educators or gifting parents at baby showers. This is the stuff they need to know right before having babies. You don't need to buy all the shoes and clothes and jewelry and whatever else they ask for at baby showers. This is what they need. Sit down as a family and watch this course, right? So, all right, this is a little bit of my results. In this video that I'm going to play, you'll see some of this stuff. You'll see sign language, color recognition, story time, animals, speech, puzzles, and always having fun as always. So just sit back and watch the video. Enjoy. Say hi.
Hi.
My name is Ronan.
Mia.
Say your name.
My name
How old are you? Say I'm 1. You're 1 years old. Brown. Good. Oh, you got the top. That's okay. Good job. What about the sheep? Where's a sheep? What sound does a sheep make?
Bah.
Good job. Where's yellow?
Pink.
That's pink, yes. Can you give me the yellow? Thank you. What's in your pocket?
Money.
Oh, yeah.
Fit.
Doesn't fit? It's upside down. Try it that way. Say more, please.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just.
Thank you. Thank you. Good job, Ronan. All right, so that's one of the videos. I have a few more so you guys can see what I mean and by what I came up with over the years of working with children and the results that I came up with. These videos are all me working with these children, so enjoy. This one will be showing you a 2-year-old sounding out words and letters, letter recognition, recognizing countries, 4-year-old doing double-digit math, and there's more after this. Find the word baby on the board and circle it.
Yeah.
Circle baby. Baby.
Baby here.
No, listen, they all start with B. You have to listen to the other letters. B, A, B.
This is A, B.
Yeah, B. So there's baby. Good job, circle it. Good job. Can you find, let's try to find bat.
Bat is here.
B-at.
Bat
Yeah.
is.
Good job. And boat. Boat. Boat.
Boat. Boat is here.
No, there's more.
The boat is here. The boat is here.
What letters do you hear? B. We gotta sound it out. B. E. Nah, we're not looking for B. E. No. B. O. There you go. Boat.
Boat.
All right. Can you show me Australia?
Here.
Good job. Can you show me North America? Where Radman lives? Good job. Can you show me South America? They play soccer in South America. They ride the bus in South America. Oh, for office. Good job. Can you find Z for zebra? Good job.
Minus 1 is 6.
Good job. What's your answer?
6. 7 plus 4, 41. 5.
Good job.
The bigger number is 8.
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping the bigger number in my head.
Okay, good job.
After 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yes, sir.
Another kid digit. So, how do you solve this problem? 2 plus 2 is...
Alright, and there's one more video for you guys. This one you'll see a 4-year-old reading fluently, the one you just seen. Addition, subtraction, commutative property, borrowing. 4-year-old and a 2-year-old learning about money, and a 1-year-old in his colors.
The giant squid is the biggest, smallest. Its eyes are the largest of any living creature on Earth. These eyes are as big as a human head. 70 plus 6.
Yeah, you in on the board? Wow. Oh, very great.
They're not so brave and so bold. He's daring and strong and not really old. Turn over the page.
A penny's worth.
A penny's worth 1. A nickel's worth 5. A dime's worth 10. And a quarter's 25. Hey, honey money.
A penny's worth
1.
A nickel's worth
5.
a dime's worth
10.
and a quarter
25.
the rest. Okay.
10. 15. 5. 1.
Good job.
In these worksheets, we are working with something called the commutative property of addition.
What color?
Back.
Good job.
Cross off the neighbor. 6 turns into 5.
What are we learning today?
Borrowing. What comes before 14? 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. 8 is our answer.
Okay, now what?
5 minus 1 equals 4.
Awesome. So what's that? All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed those videos. These are just some of the results, like I said, from working with these children I did work with for a few years. But, you know, your children are capable of learning so much. They can, you teach them everything they know. They know nothing at first. So make sure you guys are taking the time to teach them everything. They are capable of learning anything you teach them consistently, okay? So these are some challenges parents have when educating. There's a lack of patience, time, not knowing what you should teach, understanding what, you know, children are even capable of learning. And I didn't realize that until I started working with a few kids. I didn't know children were capable of learning so much. Even as a babysitter, even as a nanny, I did not know until I kept challenging these kids. I had so much more time with them, and I realized with consistency and time and patience, these kids can really learn some crazy things, a lot of things. And I was so impressed. So now my standard is so high working with any child because I know from experience that you are capable of learning whatever is being taught. But yes, not knowing how the child will learn best, not knowing how to keep your child engaged, that's another one that makes people frustrated. Resources and money, even though money is not needed to educate your child. You don't need money. You can go outside and count rocks. You can bring leaves in and make a picture. You can, you know, use scissors and glue. And there's so many things you can teach your children that do not require money. Or kids not being interested or not listening. So all that you'll learn in this course about how to get these children on the right path to make it a little easier for you and them. Here's a disclaimer. The results may vary. Taniqua Purdy Education always wants to encourage the educators to find what works for them and their children. Always remember that each child is different. Everything you see here may or may not work with your child, but be willing to learn and to make adjustments to get the results you're looking for. The results you see here are not guaranteed. It depends on various factors such as consistency, your child, environment, health, and so many other variables, right? So maybe your child might not know how to read by 4 or do double-digit math, but they're going to be further than they would be if you haven't taken the time and put the time into them, right? So don't hold any expectations on your children, okay? All right. Module 1, understand how your child learns. So the 3 different learning styles I'm going to focus on here, you'll see in a few slides. But this is the first and most important step when it comes to educating your child. Like I said earlier, you may think your child doesn't enjoy learning or isn't interested, but it's interested in what you're teaching, but it may simply be because of the way they're being taught, right? So these are the most curious ages, 1 through 5 years old, so let them show you how they learn. There's so many different ways. You can sit back and observe or try different ways once you learn out more of these different styles I'm about to teach you, okay? So there's a visual learner, and visual learners like books and reading. They'll often start with the picture books and then move on to books with text, okay? So you'll notice that. That's something you can observe, and you can notice that, oh, my kid loves to read books. Okay, maybe they're a visual learner. So as I'm going through these, please sit back. If you have to pause, just think. After this, I'm going to talk about 3 of them. But sit back and think what kind of way your child likes to learn and what they know a lot of and how they know a lot of it. So that'll help you out. They like bright colors and clear diagrams catch their eyes, and they will learn very well through videos, demonstration, and handouts. These learners do very well in traditional classrooms and traditional teaching methods. So is your child a visual learner? Pay attention and notice if they like bright colors, they like to draw or paint. After reading, they do very well with retelling the story, and when they are learning, they'll end up saying, show me, to see someone do something else before they try it themselves, okay? So just think about that. And best ways to educate a visual learner, just get crafty. Buy things like paint, crayons, marker, stamps for them to try to create and for you to teach them through. Use these same things to teach them through that. Provide them with lots of books and bright colors. Use whiteboards, use flashcards. Keep their learning environment calm and color to prevent distraction. Remember, they are visual learners, so if there's a bunch going on in the room and someone's playing music over here and there's someone jumping up and down over there, they're going to be distracted because they are visual learners. If they can't focus on you, they're not going to be able to learn, right? Then there's the kinesthetic learner. They learn best through touch, motion, and movement. The word kinesthetic refers to our ability to sense body positions and the movement of the body. So this means for them to really understand something, they need to touch it, feel it, move it, do something with it. They're always moving around. You think they're real fidgety and they can't sit still. This is a kinesthetic learner. They excel in physical activities. They often have a hard time sitting still while learning, and they're hands-on learners. So is your child a kinesthetic learner? Does your child say, let me hold that whenever they mean let me see that? They don't want to actually see it. They want to touch it when they're saying let me see that. So you have to actually give it to them. They want to feel it. They love building sets, model kits, interactive displays at the children's museums. They tend to tear things apart just so they can learn about them. So in art class, they'll choose model and clay over paint and pencils and markers. From an infant, they'll lean towards books that encourage interactions like the pop-up books, the opening the little doors and closing, the books with textures that can be touched and felt. Best ways to educate them is to offer them things they can hold. Puzzles and building blocks can entertain them. They can also be used for math. Refrigerated alphabet magnets. Have them sit on an exercise ball or a stationary bike to learn for motion instead of like sitting down at a regular desk. They don't like to sit still, so if they're bouncing up and down, or they'll learn a lot more. It doesn't look like it, but they will. Have them write on textured papers with different size pens and pencils. Just think about different things. Rhythm, so they like finger snapping or clapping for math and reading. Just make sure like make a little beat or something. Just snap. Clap, have them clap when they're reading, clap when you're sounding out words, whatever you got to do, snap. Think of things that'll get them interactive. An auditory learner. They learn best through the sense of hearing. So they catch on to new concepts when they're explained out loud, or they repeat the instructions out loud to themselves. They enjoy music also. Clapping, beats help them when learning new concepts and trying to retain the knowledge. So is your child an auditory learner? Music lovers, are they music lovers, and can they remember the words to songs they hear? They can follow spoken directions very well. If they don't understand something, they'll say, tell me again. They like to read out loud rather than silently. Even when they're alone, you'll hear them in the room reading or talking to themselves. They prefer to have someone read a story to them instead of reading it to themselves. And they can understand better when the teacher explains something to the class rather than when giving out a reading assignment. Best ways to educate them: encourage them to say things out loud. Buy the books that read to them out loud, or have the tapes that come with the books. Talk about new concepts through conversation and using logic. Make up songs from memory. They like word play, like rhyming books like Dr. Seuss. They love things that they can actually remember by rhyming is really good. All right, so those are the 3 different learning styles. So pause it, like I said, now, and think about what I just said. You can rewind it if you need to, and think about how your child learns, the child that you're working with learns. If you're working with multiple children, sit there, write their names down, and maybe, write down what kind of learner they are, what kind of habits they have according to what I just told you guys. And then then see, I gave you guys some hints on how you can teach them, how to work with them. So come up with some stuff as you're going through this course to help you better understand and better teach that child. Instead of getting frustrated, try to actually understand how the child learns. So that's what I just spoke about. You can pause it here. But yes, write down some things you know about your child's learning style. Write down some things you can incorporate in their education. And yes, your child can have multiple learning styles. So they just might not be kinesthetic, auditory, or visual. They might be all three. They might be two. And if they're none, then there's also other learning styles. But these are the three most popular that I've come encounter with my years of educating. But there are some more. You can feel free to Google learning styles, and you can see some other ones too. And it's okay to still not know, but just think about it. You still might not know, but it's okay. Just think about it. All right. Keep moving. Module 2, creating a routine. What's the difference between a schedule and a routine? Excuse me. A schedule shows the big picture and includes the main activities that happen during the day. And routines are the steps needed to complete each part of the schedule in an orderly fashion, okay? Make sure you guys know the difference. All right, and the benefits of a schedule and routine. A consistent daily schedule along with routines that follow sorry, I can't see because I'm in the way. All right, with routines that follow along, that schedule will give your child's day more direction. Children like to feel in control of their environment. They also like to feel safe, secure, and comfortable. It helps when they know what's happening now and what comes next. They often have something to look forward to once they learn their routine. They are more excited when they know how to do an activity or a task. It helps when they are engaged in learning. It helps them actually want to complete learning because they know what's coming next. This will cause them to develop relationships with people they interact with and also help them gain a sense of belonging and self-confidence. So as older toddlers and young children grow, they will know how to follow routines, demonstrate independence, and adjust to change more easily. Okay? So if you guys fell off your routine, that's okay. You can always get back on it. You just need to reteach and remind the children of the schedule and the routines from before. Tell them the schedule and have them repeat it back to you so you know that they are understanding what you're saying. Because kids hear you, but they don't listen often. So make sure that your child is listening and hears you. Make sure you always have them repeat things back to you. As you begin to reteach the routine, make sure you're having them acknowledge the routine by using words like before and after. It's really good that they understand before we eat, we will wash our hands, or after we eat lunch, we will have snack. So you can always, go back to that so they understand the schedule and what comes in what order. Review the schedule at the beginning of each day with the child. Refer to the schedule before and after activities throughout the day. Model the steps and allow children to practice them and have them help you as much as possible with various stages in the routine. So let them lead the day. Sometimes you have to remind them, like, we're not doing this. Remember what comes after this, right? So try to give them as much independence as possible. Provide positive descriptive feedback when children attempt to follow or succeed in following a routine. This is very important because even if they, might have something wrong, like, okay, it's time to watch TV now. After we eat lunch, like, no, it's not actually TV time. We have to clean up first, but also just remember to praise them. Like, well, thank you for remembering, what comes next. But that's not exactly what comes next. It comes after this, but you're doing good trying to remember the routine. So always praise your children. And routines are hard work in the beginning, but they're lifesavers just a few weeks later, okay? It takes a lot more effort from us as the educators than the child because it's vital that we remember the schedule and we also stay consistent. And consistency is very, very hard, especially every day is something different. It's hard to stay consistent, but it's very, very important. You can do this for 2 weeks, you'll be good. So if something comes up, make sure you communicate that with the toddler. You can try different ways, like, we aren't having snack time today because we are going to a birthday party and we'll have a lot there, or we will skip nap today because we have to go get daddy from the airport. Always justify any changes, because if you don't, the child's going to say, like, oh, I didn't take a nap yesterday, why do I have to take one today? When you could have just explained it yesterday. And do not let the questions go unanswered. Yeah, you might think that they're being smart, like, well, I didn't take a nap yesterday, why do I have to take one today? They're not being smart, they're not trying to be rude. This is just them being logical, like, wait, so we didn't take a nap yesterday, so I guess I don't have to take a nap today. It's common sense. It's like, oh, maybe there is exceptions to taking naps. No, it's because we went to go pick up daddy from the airport. So if you just tell them that the day before, the day you do that, then they won't question it. And they need to understand. So don't think like, because I said so, that's not how you answer it. No, you tell them, because yesterday we went to pick up Daddy from the airport. So that's the only reason why we didn't take a nap yesterday. But we do take a nap every day after we have lunch, right? Right. Perfect. But yeah, routines help your children understand what is expected of them also. So here's an example routine I have here on the right. When making a schedule, keep these tips in mind. Every child is different. This is just, like I said, it's an example. I just put it together. Some that actually work for some people, some don't. Toddlers ages 2 to 3 years old need about 12 and 14 hours of sleep daily. Kids should nap 1 hour after lunch, and they should at least wake up 4 hours before they go to bed, right? Sleep experts recommend children waking up between 6 and 8 a.m. and the same time for bedtime, so 6 and 8 p.m. Your children should have a daily routine that includes a morning routine, curriculum, before meals, and before bedtime routine. So these are the different routines they should have. But this right here, those that purchase the course, you guys should have this routine. There should be about 3 of them. There's 2 blank ones and 1 an example. So you guys should already have that already in Dropbox. So feel free to print it out if you did not, and try to think of create a couple of different routines that will work. Okay. Module 3, how to create a curriculum. This part is very, 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 very important. Now we should understand how our children learn. We should understand the importance of creating a routine and how to create a routine. This part is how to create a curriculum. So we need to know what to teach them. Now we have a routine going. We got it. They get it. What are we teaching them during this time that we have scheduled for teaching? So this is what this is for. So there's different categories: independent play, math, nature, life skills, science, art, reading, literacy, and writing, and STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So these are the different categories you can implement in this schedule. And like I said, you don't need money to educate. There's so many different ways that you can teach children without money. You don't need money to teach them. They learn from everything you do, right? So remember that. Don't let that hold you back. All right. So the benefits of independent play. Let's see. Independent play is very important for children for various reasons. It teaches them how to entertain themselves. It teaches them how to use their imagination. It'll help them develop social independence. It teaches them how to self-soothe. It encourages calmness, offers them a sense of security, and gives you some downtime. How to encourage independent play? Use timers to let them know they have 5 minutes until you come back or until cleanup. Timers are very, very important because they know when they hear the timer that, oh, something's happening next. What's happening next? What's happening next? Yes, use a timer. Don't just come in the room like, all right, time to go clean up. Like they don't like that, and their attitude will probably change. Like, no, come on, I still have. But when they hear a timer, it's different because they know. Introduce new toys before leaving independent play, or bring in old ones. So maybe if you got them a new toy, or if there's something that was in the basement and you bring it, like, oh, how about you play with this while I go wash the dishes or get lunch ready. Ensure the environment is safe before you leave out. So no crayons, markers, Play-Doh, accessible. Depending on how old your child is, but just to prevent things, please, please, please try to have the area as clean as possible so you don't have to come back and, get mad at them for writing on the walls or anything of that sort, okay? Maybe read a book together before independent play starts, but let the child know, I will read 1 book of your choice before I go handle something. So let them know, I'm only reading 1 book, or I'm only reading 2 books, okay? And then even ask them, how many books am I reading? And they say, okay. So even if you have to say, okay, this is the first book, we have 1 more book, what do you want to read? So make sure that they understand. You have to speak to them slower because sometimes they're just hearing you but not listening, most of the time. Give them a hug and a kiss before you leave the room, if they're your child, or, also let them know that if there is an emergency, that you are right there. You're not anywhere. They can come get you if it's an emergency, but make sure you explain what an emergency is. If they don't know what an emergency is, you can't expect them to just know, oh, this is an emergency because I can't get my toy. No, an emergency if you're hurt, if something scares you, or something of that sort. Explain that to them. There's gross motor skills. They work on the whole body, the bigger muscles in the body. So sitting, standing, jumping, running, kicking, lifting, riding a bike, swimming, rollerblading, sports. So gross motor skills are very, very important for children. So you always want to keep them active all the time. Fine motor skills, they help with hand movement, like the smaller muscles like the hands, the fingers, the wrists. This helps with coordination, okay? So like activities that require them to pinch, like the clothes hangers, those pinch, squeezing, drawing, cutting, gluing, buttoning, zipping, threading beads, writing, holding a pencil, pen, crayon, erasing, things like that, okay? So these are very important, all right? So math concepts, there's money, understanding the value, identifying bills and coins, counting, measurements, smaller, taller, larger, bigger, medium size, all that kind of stuff is very important. Number order, what number comes next and after, before. Bigger numbers, smaller numbers, equal numbers. Make sure they understand that. But this is a sequence. And then also geometry, which is identifying shapes, naming shapes. But remember, guys, math, you have to start with the end in mind, okay? But then you have to work backwards, right? So you can't just expect them to understand the bigger numbers, smaller numbers, and equal numbers if they don't know what the numbers look like, if they're not able to recognize numbers. Make sure your children are able to recognize numbers. Yeah, they might be able to count to 10, but do they know what 1 looks like? Do they know what 2 looks like? Do they know what 3 looks like? Do they know what 4 looks like? Have them do a lot of activities so they can recognize the numbers as they're counting. So even if you say, you count 1, point to 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Make them recognize numbers, because I realize that a lot of kids, they do know how to count, which is amazing, but they don't know what the numbers look like, right? So, yes, make sure that your child, to make it a little faster for you and easier, make sure that you are showing them the numbers as they're counting, okay? Because it'll help a lot in the long run, right? So nature, take them outside daily. It's very healthy for your children to get outside daily. Collect things from outside for projects like rocks, pine cones, dirt, grass, flowers, leaves. It's okay for your children to get dirty. If they don't experience it, they won't know it's dirty, or they don't know how it feels. Please let them be free and touch everything, because they're curious about everything. They don't know what anything is. Let them feel the grass. Let them roll down a hill. Let them jump in some muddy puddles, all that kind of stuff. They need to experience this stuff. And who not better than you, the parent, the educator? Let them experience it all, right? So talk about the weather every morning and throughout the day. I used to do this all the time. Every day we would look out the window like, oh, it's sunny today. Do you think it's hot? Do you think it's cold? Or we'll open the door like, oh, how does it feel? Do you think you need a coat on today? Or what do you need, gloves? Or can we wear shorts? Ask them things like that to get them to understand and to think. Teach about the seasons, of course. Let your child play in dirt and mud puddles, like I said. Even explain to them how mud is made. It's the simplest things you're teaching these kids that they don't know. They don't know anything. Remember that. You can teach them anything. Like, oh, this is the doorknob to open the door. Like everything. We know what all these things are, but they don't, right? So make sure you're explaining everything. Talk about where the birds live. Talk about plants. Plant some plants. Before going outside, have them tell you the weather and what they need on. Like I told you, open the door, let them get a feel for it. Act, see what they think they need to wear before they go outside. That's very, very important, because it shows you that they can feel the weather. They understand what's going on. They understand that it might be a little colder. It might be cold if I'm outside, or it might not be. And then explain to them, if you think it's really cold, it's snowing outside, and they think they need shorts on and a t-shirt, then explain to them why they need more than that. So you can get sick and it's cold and you'll be outside for 1 minute and then you'll be wanting to come in. Things like that, okay? Life skills, very important. This is always being taught. I don't need to teach you guys how to teach life skills, because it's life and those skills come naturally. Be careful and very aware when it comes to your child's environment, because this is where they learn. They learn their habits from this. They learn from watching children jump off of houses and cars or whatever they're doing. They learn that stuff from watching people. Even watching it on TV, it's still the same thing. They're learning that people can do this, so they're interested in trying it. Give them some small responsibilities and hold them accountable, like chores, and pay them to understand the value of money. So chores, depending on the age, for a kid, it just might be putting your toys back into the correct bins, the car bins and the drawn bins and all that. Make sure they do that. But if they're small, you can't really hold them responsible, at least give them some type of responsibility. Okay, we'll clean up, even if you have to help them, at first. So definitely get them to have some chores and pay them, like I said, to understand the value of money. And then maybe at the end of the week or the month, you can take them to buy a toy with their own money, right? Have them take care of the animals if you guys have animals. Teach them their manners, teach them about helping others, and teach them how to be a listener. That's important, right? So you can do listening activities like, okay, I'm going to ask you to do something, and then I want you to explain back to me what I just asked you to do, right? And then I want you to go do it. Right. So, okay. Carter, can you go to the kitchen and pick up the fork from the floor and put it on the counter and then say, okay, Carter, can you explain to me what I asked you to do? Yeah, you asked me to go to the kitchen and pick up the fork and put it on the counter. Okay, well, can you go do it now? And then they do it. Perfect. Look at it. That's being a listener, because you listened to what I said and you showed me you listened because you explained to me what I told you and then you did it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Science. Body awareness, like body parts. The body parts are important to learn about. How things work is important. Questioning things, they'll question everything, as you guys know already, or if you don't know, kids will question every single thing. And the reason for that is because they don't know anything. They know nothing until you teach them things. So they will ask questions a million times. And it's not because they want to get on your nerves. They don't even know what getting on your nerves is. They ask these questions because they don't know. They are really curious, right? So just explain it to them. Answer every question. Don't say stop asking questions or stay out of grown folks' business. Explain it to them and dumb it down as much as you can. Obviously keep the grown portion out, but explain to them, right? Have some experience with living creatures like fishes and birds and bees and butterflies, all that type of stuff outside. Do some science projects. Use social media to get ideas. Guys, social media is here for us to learn. I learned a lot of stuff on social media still. Pinterest is amazing. Instagram, Facebook. You can Google anything. STEM also. There's a lot of great activities for STEM, but you can just Google STEM activities like I said here. Google it. If you don't know, Google it. There's so many activities you can do just from things outside. You don't need much. You don't need to be creative because surprisingly, I am not creative at all. That is one of my, that's where I lack. I'm not very creative, but thank goodness for social media and my friends that are very creative. Like I'm just not creative. I'm great at education and creating routines and curriculums and stuff. But as far as art projects and actually thinking of that stuff for myself, I'm not good at that. I don't know what it is, but I've never been. And I guess I never will be, but that never stopped me from teaching these children. So it's okay not to be something, right? So, yeah, that's me admitting that. You got to admit it first. I'm not creative at all, guys. Art. Create art projects. Praise all their work. They might make things that you don't know what it looks like, or it might not look like anything they're saying, but that's okay because they put their time into it, and that's what it looks like to them. So, tell them it's beautiful. Hang it up if you want. Put it in their room. Put it in a book. Do something with all their work. Have them explain what they made, and so you can kind of understand their thought process when making it, and then try to understand like, oh, okay, I can see where that came from. Visit museums, buy postcards with art, hang up their artwork, like I said. Teach them to compliment others' work, like even if you made something or their sibling or something or their students in the classroom, make sure that they compliment other people's work. Like, oh, look at his work. Tell them tell them it's nice, you like it. And, just help them, reciprocate, support, be supportive. Yes, be supportive. Always be supportive of your children. Music. Expose them to musical instruments early, right? There's music. They listen to music all the time, but let them listen to, the drums, the guitars, anything that's in the musical industry. I'm not really into the music industry, but I do like making sounds and beats. We make drums all the time with whatever we can find. We make beats. I introduce them to different genres of music, which is important. Don't just let them listen to what you want to listen to. Let them listen to everything and see what they like to listen to the most. See what sticks to them the most. You can use pots and pans in the house, boxes, sticks on the concrete, sliding them. It makes all type of sounds. Everything makes sounds, even if you go through, past the ladder, not a ladder, but the thing on the stairs and just go, and you go like that with your hands and just walk through. The kids will keep doing that. Like they can make sounds with their mouths, teach them that. You can watch videos of children playing the piano, guitar, and flute, show them the different videos and children doing different things and see what they're interested in, right? And make your children familiar with everything. Even if you don't know about it, it's okay. Maybe they'll teach you about it. Let them teach you things. It's okay to not know things, but it's not okay not to expose your children just because you don't know about it, right? And you can't teach them about it. They'll ask questions and you know where to find the answer. So let them ask you questions and you go Google the answer or ask Siri or whoever you have to ask. Definitely expose your children to everything. And that's the problem I see with a lot of people out here. We're not exposed to certain things, so we don't know certain things. You don't know what you don't know, right? So if we're teaching them, they can't say, oh, I don't know anything about that, or I've never seen that before. Oh, or I've seen that before and I always was interested in how that worked. There you go. Right. So now we have reading, literacy, and writing. So explain to them that text moves from left to right, or wherever you are, it might be right to left. But explain to them which direction text moves when they see it, right? Explain the purpose of writing. People write so we can read, right? So explain to them and show them and guide them with writing and reading. Help them with letter recognition. The same thing with counting. They can know the alphabet. They can sing the alphabet all day. But if they don't know what the letters look like, you're going to have a problem. So as early as they are learning the alphabet, you should be showing them what these letters are. Even that's why I love having them watch the shows about the alphabet, like on YouTube or whatever the case is, because they can see it as they are singing the song. I'm singing the alphabet, not like us just singing it and walking around. No, actually, they can see the letters, and sometimes some of the videos have them sound it out. That too, they can hear the sound. So that's why I love those educational videos on the alphabet too, because it's hard because they'll learn the alphabet. You're like, yeah, my kid knows the alphabet, my kid knows how to count, but then they don't know what they look like, and that is an issue, right? So to help you save time, make sure you are showing them the letters as they are singing the alphabet. But you can still sing the alphabet all day, but just make sure you are at some point in the day, you are actually sitting down and showing them the alphabet at the same time as they're singing it, to help with letter recognition. Help with sounding out of each letter. Even if you're saying A for apple, just anything. You just think of anything that will help them remember. B for ball, b. That's the alphabet you can teach them if you want, because then they'll know the sounds, right? Help with recognizing uppercase and lowercase letters. This is going to be later on, right? After they know what the letters look like, right? Don't start with that. There's going to be a lot of stuff for them to recognize what it looks like, uppercase, lowercase, and the sound. That's a lot. Just start with the letters, the alphabet, the sounds they make, and also what they look like. Start there. Don't worry about uppercase and lowercase until they understand what the letters look like and what they sound like, right? Use magnet letters, like I was saying, like the ones, the alphabets on the refrigerator. Those helped a lot with this. Well, he was about like 9-10 months. We used to do that every morning when he's eating. We'll just be pointing out letters and moving them around, and he'll get down after he's done eating, and I'll ask him to give me letter A, B, things like that from off the refrigerator. They like that stuff. But also, another tip I have for you guys, when they're first learning, don't have all the letters up and okay, give me A, and there's all the letters on the board, on the fridge. Have two or three letters on the board, and then say, hey, give me A. Don't have all of them on the fridge and then okay, give me A, B, C. No, it's a lot going on. So just put 3 letters and then have them point out or give you whichever letter it is, okay? And then as they understand what they look like more, then you'll be able to add more letters, okay? Okay. That's just a tip. Practice tracing letters on paper. So as they're learning what letters look like, that's when you can start teaching them how to trace the letters too. It helps them as you're tracing them to make sure you're saying what the letters are and what they sound like. And like I said, always get creative when teaching things. Just think of anything possible that you can teach a child if they're not catching on to something. Literally, think of anything. I'm trying to sit here and think now. So yeah, you can make letters with Play-Doh. You can make letters with those pom-poms. You can make letters with anything, a pen. You can cut letters out with scissors. There's so many things you can do, right? Read a lot of books and use their fingers to follow along. So one of the experiences I had, I was working with a child and I was reading a lot of books with them, but I realized at some point that they didn't realize that when I was reading the books, I was reading the words on the pages. Because I would be reading the book, holding the book, reading it, and just reading it. But I never would actually follow along and show them what I was doing. So they just thought I was making up stories. So that's why she's really good at making up stories, which is great. But she never realized that I was reading something. She thought I was just making up these stories. So now, from that, I would say, make sure you have their finger and you follow along. You grab their hand and their finger, or if they want to grab yours, that's fine. And as you're reading, the dog walked down the street. He saw the ball roll across the street. Make sure you are actually following along so they understand that you are reading something, right? You're not making this stuff up. And then it'll help them, as they read, they'll start to do the same thing. Very, very important stuff, guys. I'm telling you, this stuff you don't learn in school, you don't learn this stuff in books, you actually have to experience this stuff. So I'm trying to give you guys everything that I've learned throughout the years that helped me, get better with educating these children. When you see certain letters as you're walking around, or if you guys are out taking trips, doing whatever it is that you're doing throughout the day, always try to teach something. So just say, oh, what letter is that? Like if you see a stop sign, like what letter does that start with? Or what sound does it make? Or is that uppercase or lowercase? If they don't know, have them repeat it to you after you teach them, but always try to educate them somehow. There's literally, like I said, you can teach them anything, anywhere. You can go outside, you can be at the mall, like, oh, what color shirt is this? Like, things like that. Or what color is this here? Or things of that sort. All right, so television and electronics time. There's nothing wrong with television or electronics. I know a lot of parents that do not allow that at all, and then I know some parents that do. But I'm the parent or the nanny or the educator that allows it. I love it. I honestly do. I don't love them to watch it all day. There is a certain time that they can watch it. It might be 30 minutes, might be 40 minutes, depending on the age. It all depends. But they only are allowed to watch educational content, right? There's so many shows out here that teach your kids so much. Like, they'll be entertained by anything. Why is it that they need to watch kids on YouTube playing with toys or unboxing toys or things of that sort? No, there's a million educational videos on there that they can learn from, right? So make sure that when you're doing something, if it's something important, if you put on a show really quick, make sure it's an educational show. Don't just have them put on, I'm trying to think of a show that's not educational that they'll just watch. They just watch maybe like Power Rangers or something. They don't need to watch that. What are they watching that for? They don't need to watch that. Put on something that they can learn something from, So, but always monitor what they're watching, okay? So, let's go on. So, pbskids.org/grownups is a very, very, very good site. If you guys are not on this, make sure you guys are on this. Sign up, get the newsletter. No, I don't get paid by PBS Kids, but I found out this site is very, very, very helpful. So like I said, the site is right there at the top. You can pause it, write it down. But pbskids.org/grownups, right? If you type that in, this will come up. This is what the page will look like. And then you'll click on this pink thing over here that says Visit PBS Parents. Click on that, and it'll take you, to a regular page, but I came up and scrolled to the top where it says shows, plays, thrive, videos. You just scroll over that, hover over that, and it'll show you all the shows they have, all these educational shows that they have, right? Molly of Denali, Hero Elementary. There's so many shows that you guys probably never heard of. Daniel's Tiger Neighborhood is a great one. The Cat in the Hat, there's a bunch of stuff on here that your kids probably never seen before because you guys didn't know about this. And that is okay. We can't know everything, but I'm here to help you, know what I know. But this website is great. Great, great, great. You and your kids sit on here all day if you want to figure it out. Let's see. Then if you click on, you hover over play, they have, coloring pages and printables. They have craft and experiments, games and apps, birthday party themes, recipes. Like all this stuff you can do with your children. You should not say, I don't know what to do today. I don't have anything to do. I can't teach them anything today. Never, ever, ever in a million years. Right? Because you have this website. And then if you scroll down, you put the age range of your children and you select the topic, right? And it'll teach you, you can pick different topics of what you need help with, what you want to teach. And they'll give you things for age appropriate for your children. Very, very important, guys. Make sure you guys pause this and go check that out right now. Open another tab and just look and scroll. Scroll, take some notes, put your child's information, sign up for the newsletter, whatever you got to do. And make sure you're doing that now. So far, you guys should have followed me on Instagram. I'll give you guys my Facebook and Twitter and all that at the end. But right now, you should have followed me on Instagram already. Also, I didn't say this yet, but if you can screenshot this, post it on your Instagram, tag me in it, that would be great. I would love that. That would help out. And also, go on pbskids.org and follow along. So, If you want to know more educational shows, there's Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, Cocomelon, Blippi, Sesame Street, Word World, Little Einsteins, Doc McStuffins, Dinosaur Trains, Bubble Guppies, Blues Clues, Word Party, Super Wide, The Magic School Bus, Peep in the Big Wide World, Sid the Science Kid. There's so many other shows, I can't even think of all of them, but these can be found on YouTube, Amazon Prime, and Netflix. These shows all teach your children stuff. They're not just shows that have no purpose. They have a purpose. All of these that I mentioned on here. And like I said, I'm probably missing a lot, but right now this will be a good start for you. So this 30 things you should know before kindergarten, this should be already emailed to you also. If you bought this course or if someone bought it for you, make sure they give this to you so you can print it out. Keep this, print this out, as you're going through your days. Check things, put the date as well as when they accomplish these, or even when you started teaching them. So you guys should already have this. So print it out if you can. If not, that's fine too. Just make sure you always refer back to it. So when you start making a curriculum, start with the end in mind. That's it with anything in life, I feel like. Start with the goal, the long-term goal in mind. Break down each one of these categories into smaller activities. That way they can help you check off what's on this list. The academic column is what needs to be broken down mainly, because all the other columns, you don't have to break down much, but the academic column you would have to break down into smaller categories so they can build up to actually learning these things, right? So when they complete something, put a check and a date, but always review what they know already. Even if they do know something, at the end of the week, maybe bring it up, okay, what letter is this? What letter is that? What letter is that? Even though they know it, but always bring it up. So it's like you're building on to them, to what they know. So you're not just like, okay, you learned this, good, we don't have to go back over this. No, always go over things. What color is that? What color is that? Yeah, you guys learned colors 2 years ago. But just make sure they always are up to date. But yeah, so under fine motor, we have how to use scissors, how to cut a straight line, how to copy shapes, hand preference for writing. You should know that by now, depending on their age. But just give them a pen or a pencil and see what hand they prefer most of the time and see what they always pick. You'll know that from observations. Communication communicates what they want and they need. Are they able to tell you a story they heard? Understand step-by-step instructions, able to hold a serious conversation, able to answer who, what, when, and why questions. Just check those off, put the dates. Academics, identify their name in print, but what do they need to know before that? Anybody have any ideas? I know you guys can't talk to me, but think about it. What do they need to know before identifying name in print? All right. I feel like I'm one of those shows and they're like telling you on Dora. They're like, okay, well, pick out which one. Where do we need to go next? But no, yes, if you guys thought they need to know the alphabet, they need to know what the letters look right? And they need to know what order and spelling their name, how to sound out their letters to know what their name is spelled. So there's 3 things they need to do before identifying their name in print, right? So that's something that needs to be broken down. Say first and last name. Are they able to say first and last if you ask them, what's your first name? What's your last name? Right? Identify letters in their name. So if they did write their names, make sure they're able to identify it. Because some kids are really good at memorizing things. So you can write their names 100 times and they might not know the letters in their name. They're just used to writing them, right? So they might not know. So, or they might know it, saying it in order, but if have them say, okay, what's this letter? It might be the second letter. Or what's that letter? That might be the last letter. Like, switch it up so that you can understand that they actually understand. Because if I spell my name Taniqua, and we do that every day, I know that's Taniqua, not because of the way they look, or not because of the way, because I can recognize them, but it's because that we do this every single day. Like, I know this is Taniqua, but if I say, what letter is this? And that might be the Q. I might not know it's Q because I didn't start with the Taniq, So definitely move things around. Sort objects by color, shape, and size. You got to know color. You need to know shapes. And you need to know different sizes. So that needs to be broken down. Understand sequences, first, middle, last. So that's, you don't have to break that down too much. Let me see. Yeah, let them write their first and last name And like I said, that goes with identifying name and print. You need to know how to write the letters. That you should probably learn how to trace letters before you know how to write your first and last name. So those are things that you can do before that. Counting out objects 1 from 20, 1 through 20. Identify some uppercase and lowercase letters. They'll need to know their letters. They need to know how, what they sound like, all this stuff. Identify some numbers. I already spoke about this. Make sure that they are able to identify the numbers they're counting, not just able to count them, because that does not mean that they know what they look like. Identify and name shapes, and identify and name colors, right? All right, social emotional category. Can they follow rules, follow routines? Are they able to separate from the parent? This is very, very important. Very important for children to be able to separate from their parents because they know that their parent is coming back. So make sure you take a lot of time when your child is young to understand, to explain to your child, I am coming back, okay? I will never leave you. I will always come back to get you, right? It's very important to know that you're not leaving them forever, right? So be like, Mommy will be back. I have to go to the store, but stay here with Daddy, and I will be back in a few minutes. I know it's not that simple. I know it is not that simple, but as you do it over and over and over, as they get older, they'll understand more. At first, they're just going to still be screaming their heads off, like, yeah, right. But through time, they will get it. When they're 1 or 2 years old, I'm like, Mommy's going to come back. Mommy comes back. Yes, I do. I always come back. I always come back to get you. So they'll start to understand. At first, I know they're going to be like, Mommy's leaving me, whatever the case is. But just know that they will learn that throughout you going over it over and over again. Let's see. Okay, and knows how to play nicely. Teach them how to play nicely and to share. A lot of these things you can teach if it's just you and your child at home. Teach them how to play nicely. Teach them how to share. If you don't have siblings for them or their cousins or something to come over, have play dates. But show them how to share. It's very important that they share. But it's also very important to teach them that other kids don't like to share. So if it's just you and your child, you can model like taking something from them that they're playing with and see how they react. It's very important for you to see how your children react in certain situations because some kids will just try to scratch you or try to pull your hair or throw something at you. But you won't know that if you don't, show your children that there are people that will just take a toy from you or whatever the case is. It's very important for you to know how your children act in every situation. Yeah, we don't want to take toys away from our child or, be mean if you want to call it, but there are people out there like that, right? So we need to know what kind of behavior your child will show if something like that happens, and then we can talk to them and talk them through that. So if someone takes something from you, it's not okay to hit them, right? So how about you ask them, can you give me my toy back, or I was playing with that, or whatever however you want to say it to them. But you wouldn't know this until it happens for the first time. So don't let the first time be when you're at a birthday party with a newborn baby and the newborn baby just came over and crawled over and took the toy they were playing with and they just go scratch them in the face. You didn't think your child would do that, but you also didn't know because you've never taken a toy from them. It's just you and them at home. So who would be taking toys from them? Nobody, So you have to introduce them to every single thing, right? The good and the bad, who's better than us to teach them the bad? At least we can work through it with them, right? So that's important for social emotional. To understand that and then explain to them, if someone did that to you, would you want them to scratch? Or if you did that to someone, would you want them to do that to you? Explain this to them. Self-help, puts their coat on by themselves, keep track of their favorite belongings, cleans up after themselves with reminder. They can use the bathroom on their own. They can open lunchboxes by themselves. That's so funny because you wouldn't think you need to teach a child how to open their lunchbox, right? But I've seen through my research, I'm like, wow, yeah. That is on a lot of different pages that teachers say, make sure your children know how to open their lunchbox. And I would have never thought to teach a kid that, but that shows you that you literally have to teach your kids everything. What makes me think that a child's going to know how to open a lunchbox because I put their food in there and I clamped it closed and everything, put it in their box, put them their juice box in there and, sent them to school. What makes me think that they will know how to open it? I don't know. I would just, why don't you know how to open a lunchbox, right? But that's not right. They don't know how to, why would they know how to open a lunchbox? This is their first time going to school. They've never had a lunchbox before. So they just can't magically know how to open it, right? So that every time I see that, I'm just like, that is so funny, because I never would have thought that I would have to teach a kid how to open a lunchbox, but you do. That's so funny. It's just like juice boxes, but kids usually know how to open juice boxes because they have those before they go to preschool. And you do see that you have to teach them how to do it. So it's kind of similar with a lunchbox. Make sure you don't give them these lunchboxes that have all these clips and clamps and things, and they don't know how to open it, right? So that's very important. And then can unzip and zip and button and unbutton. So teach them that too, to make these teachers' lives a little easier, and also make the child more independent. One of the main goals is to make sure your children are independent, right? Very, very important to make sure your children can do things without you there. As parents and educators, you want the child, you want to feel like you're needed, right? You want to feel like they need help with something, or you can help them, or you can teach them something. But it's very, very important that you take as much time observing as you do teaching. So sit back and just let them do things. Like if they can't figure out how to zipper their coat, they're gonna try a bunch of different ways. They're gonna watch their brother or sister. They're gonna go to their brother or sister. They're gonna try to figure it out. And if you can't help them, then they'll figure it out. But if you're always helping them, like, oh, I got it, or I'm doing it, like even buttoning up their shirt, or unzipping their pants, or pulling their pants down when they're using the bathroom. Just let them try things on their own, because they're never going to learn if you don't sit back and let them try. Just be lazy. This is a good time for you to be lazy, right? So like, Mom, if the kid comes downstairs, Mom, where's my car? My car. And you're like, oh, I'll go get it for you. No, let them go find it. Tell them it's in the car bin in the playroom. That's it. Tell them it's in the car bin in the playroom. Okay, and they'll be like, okay, well, usually you'll be like, okay, I'll go get it because I put it up, I cleaned up. No. Go get it. Tell them it's in the car bin in the playroom. Like, Mom, I can't find it. Did you look in the car bin in the playroom? And then you're like, okay. They're like, yeah, I did. And then you'll go over there and you'll see the car bin is not open. And then you go open the car bin in the playroom, open it, like, look in there. Have them look. Like, try to get them to do things on their own. Like, Mom, I gotta go potty. Okay, let's go potty. Go to the bathroom. They open the door. They go. They're just standing there waiting for you to take down the pull up. No, tell them, pull down your pull up. Pull it down. And they'll pull it down. They might not have it all the way down there. Who knows? They might pee on themselves before they get it down, but they did get it down a little bit. And there's pee on their leg, and they don't like that. So next time, they're going to try to practice pulling it down. Or you can just have them practice pulling it down and up before that. But there's so many different things that they need to learn to do by themselves. They should learn how to grab a bottle of water off the counter. Things like that, right? How to put on their coat, how to undress themselves, how to take their shorts off, things of that sort, how to put their socks on, take their socks off. Just help them be as independent as possible. This is what we want. We want independent kids, independent, smart kids, right? Right, because these kids are our future. All right, guys, on to the next. But like I said, make sure you guys are checking these boxes and breaking them down, okay? But let's get more into it. So now that we have the routine, we understand how our child learns. There's one thing that I do want to also talk about before we get to teaching them. We need to also learn what kind of teacher we are too. There's a lot of different teaching styles out there, but I use a mix of them. You can Google what type of teaching styles there are to see if you want to adopt any of them. But I go off of proactive and reactive. Are you a proactive teacher or are you reactive, right? So what I mean by that is, a parent I worked for previously, he told me, he was trying to explain, what it is that I'm better at or good at for their child, or what he noticed as far as how I work with his child. But he realized that what he was trying to say is, he said that I am very good at stopping the problem before it happens. Like he said, he would notice that I would know what to do before the child would react, as opposed to waiting for the child to react and then doing something about it. So I am a proactive teacher. I like to prevent things from happening. Reactive, you wait for something to happen and then you want to work on it. So that comes with also understanding your child. Like if you know that if you take this away from them before that timer goes off, they're going to flip out. Don't take it away from them before the timer goes off. Even if you have to, even if the timer says we have 15 minutes left, change that timer to say we have 1 minute left so that timer can go off. Right? Because if that timer does not go off and you take this toy and you say we got to clean up just because you have to go somewhere, you realize you got to go now to prevent him from flipping out and throwing toys and screaming and doing all that, just change the timer to that 1 minute instead of 15 minutes. So then it goes off in 1 minute. He doesn't know that it's 15 minutes shorter. He knows when that timer goes off, though, that it's time to clean up. And that's it. So I'm very, very, very preventative. You can say proactive. I prevent a lot from happening. That's just from me knowing the reactions of children. Children do things because they want a reaction, and I understand their reactions. So take time to observe and see how they react and what you can do to prevent your children from reacting certain ways, right? But at first you will have to be reactive because you don't know this child. So you didn't know that, oh, because I turned the light off before I read a story that they were going to flip out. No, you didn't know that. So now you know, next time, read the story first with the light on, then turn the light off and say goodnight, or whatever the case is. So you will have to start off being reactive. I've been reactive for so many years, but now working with so many children, I just know, what they will do before it happens just by observing them. I'm really good at observing children and understanding how they would react to certain situations. So, yes, are you reactive or are you proactive? Do you wait for things to happen as being reactive? Or do you prevent things from happening, right? So think about that. You can take a second and think about that, right? Pause it or whatever you need to do before we get into this curriculum. Because this part, it's a fun part, creating the curriculum. This is the hard part for some people. For me, it was for a lot of years creating a curriculum because I just went with the flow. Every day I just come up with something different. Like I said, I wasn't documenting anything. I wasn't writing anything down. I just was making the days go by, just teaching things, but I didn't have any order. So I was just, going off of what they knew. We would just go over the same thing, and then I would add a little bit more to it the next day, or once I see that they got it, I would add more to it. But it was never a sequence. It was never organized. So this will help you guys with that. So these activities should last as long as the child will focus for, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes each. Don't sit there and try to have them sit down for an hour and a half and teach a lesson. No, it's not going to work. They're kids. They don't have a long attention span. Just whatever the child will sit down for is what you should start with. If it's only 3 minutes, let them sit down for 3 minutes. Take a break. It could be a 3-minute break. Go back to work. If that's what you have to do, that's what you need to do. But just understand, as they, get used to it, get in the sequence, get in the habit, then they'll be able to sit down for much longer. So for letters, always have them do something. So I'll put like write it, dot it, trace it, decorate it, sort it, color it, sing it. So these things are making sure the child are doing things. So I'll put for Monday, sing the alphabet and sound out the alphabet pretty much. Tuesday, trace the letters on the whiteboard. Wednesday, and I'll go again, sing the alphabet and sound out. And then on Thursday, I'll have trace the letters on the whiteboard. And then on Friday, you can't really see it, sorry, because I'm in your way, but it says decorate the letters for the week. You can decorate them with anything. You can decorate them with stickers. You can decorate them with glue. You can decorate them with glitter. So just just try to switch it up. And sometimes with alphabet, I'll switch them. Like you'll see it every other day. I have sing the alphabet and songs and write them out, and then trace, and then sing, and then trace. Just because I know alphabet, there's a lot of letters, and you got to spend a lot more time on that. So then the numbers and concepts, same concept as letters. Always get the children involved. So I'll have count to 20 out loud. Color 4 objects on this page. Sort toys from 1 to 4. Stand on your foot for 4 seconds. Count to 20 out loud. See, we did that on Monday, but we also did that on Friday, but it's because I'm trying to make sure that they understand and still remember. But the letter of this week must have been the number 4, because I put, color 4 objects on this page. Sort toys from 1 to 4. Stand on 1 second for 4 seconds. So that's showing them so many different ways. They're showing you what the number 4 looks like, how many toys is 4, and also counting. for 4 seconds, how long 4 seconds is. So showing them some of the different ways of 4. So 4 must have been that number. So pick a letter for the week. So pick a couple letters. I know they do, some schools do like 1 letter a week or 1 letter every other week. I don't know. But pick a couple letters. Not just 1. I would say pick like 2 letters a week. Numbers, you can pick 2 numbers. But like if they're younger, start with 1. But like ideally I'll say 2. Because kids are capable of learning a lot. And we just kind of handicap them by just making it a little easier for them. No, challenge them. Always challenge your child. So do 2 letters, 2 numbers. Books. Just let your child choose what books they want to read. I just put some examples there, but I'll just write it down after they do read the books. I will have this email to you guys also. It'll be in your Dropbox. It should be in there, but if not, I'll make sure to give you guys this example one and also a blank one. So also explain to them what's happening in the book and following along with their finger. Why are they following along with their finger? Anyone remember? Yeah, if you don't, but if you do, good job. Yes, because they don't know that you're reading the words on the page, right? So follow along with their finger. And it'll also keep them engaged and make sure that they're paying attention to the book, right? So just grab their little finger, okay? Right, as you're reading. So fine motor, this is where your creativity will come in handy. These activities are needed for children to learn specific skills like critical thinking. So cutting with a straight line. Remember, fine motor is using your fingers, your wrist, and your hand. Pinching pom-poms and dropping them in a cup. Even if you want them to drop them in the same color cup of the pom-pom, that's a good activity. Build a school with Legos. Glue paper pieces on construction paper. Remember, they don't let me fit everything in these boxes, but you get the gist. Sort blocks. Shapes in the boxes, like those little boxes that have the shapes, and you put the heart and the star, and you got to fit them in there. So that's what I meant by that. So this is an example curriculum that you guys can use, but imagine how, and I put the date over here in the corner so you can keep up with these things. So you can print them out, keep up. Even if you just want to draw some line, whatever the case is, even if you have the big calendar, you buy the big calendar from the store, you can use that. Just make sure you're documenting what you're doing, right? So remember, these are the skills I was telling you about, but you can switch out these skills that you see, letters, numbers, concepts, books, and fine motor with these other ones. Gross motor, music, art, life skills, nature. We had letters, numbers, books, activities, indoor and outdoor, and science and STEM. So make sure you're not just doing these every day. If you want, you can make this go down further and, teach them about all these different things in one day, depending on the age, like I said. But if they're only 5 minutes, you're only doing 5 minutes of each. That's 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of teaching, and then there's 20 minutes of a break. There's 40 minutes there that you spend educating and between educating and breaks. So, switch it up every week. Don't just have them doing the same thing. You don't want them lacking something because you were so focused on them having the letters and the numbers and all that. No, make sure you are reading them books every day, though. Make sure they are using their fine motor skills, gross motor skills every day. Letters, even if you just sing the alphabet, that's fine. But then make sure you incorporate activities, also indoor activity. I told you that's indoor, outdoor activities every day. You need to do that depending on the weather. Music and art. Also let them draw something and listen to some music, even if you're just listening to music as you're doing art. There you go, 2 in 1. Life skills, that's all day, every day, too. Let's see. Guys, you did it. That's it. I know I spoke for a long time. I hope you guys paused this video. You took a break, got something to eat, got something to drink. Because I am thirsty. I should have got something to drink. But it was worth it. I can talk about this all day. I can really talk about this all day. And I can do it all day too. But so many people want me to, work with the children and be their child's nanny. But I realize that I can't be, everyone's nanny. I can't be everywhere I want. So that's another reason why I created this course. Because although I can't be the one over there working with their children, but I can teach some people the way I think and the way I teach and how I come up with what I come up with and how I get the results I get. So maybe if I'm helping educate you guys a little more, you guys can be those nannies and those educators that people want their children to be with and that they trust their children with and to get results from. So that's why I took the time out to create this. And I hope you guys, learned at least one new thing from this course. Found this helpful. If you found this helpful, please, 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 and one more, please drop a 5-star rating on Gumroad, where you guys got this course from. Go on Gumroad and rate the course. Share on social media. Like I said, spread the word. You can tag me in it. But my goal is to get 10 5-star reviews. So if you learned at least one new thing from this course, please, please leave a review, because, as you guys know, we're all humans and we like to buy things because of the reviews and testimonials and things like that. So please, if you can do that for me, I would appreciate that. On Instagram, you can follow me at TaniquaPurdy.edu. On Facebook, you can follow me at The Nanny Lady. And Twitter, you can follow me at Taniqua Purdy. Yeah, I know they're all different, and that's not what we should be having, different handles and everything. But Facebook, The Nanny Lady, was my first original name, and I have one that's for TaniquaPurdy.edu, but it's for something else, and I was trying to merge the pages. So yeah, that didn't work out too well. Twitter, Taniqua Purdy, but the title is TaniquaPurdy.edu. Because Taniqua Purdy is a broad topic, a broad spectrum. I will be releasing a lot more information and a lot more knowledge. So make sure you guys are following me also on Gumroad. Press the follow button, and then they'll email you to confirm your email, and then you're following me. So you will be the first person to get anything that comes out, any newsletters I drop, because I'm going to be creating a lot more documents, a lot more things and lessons for you guys. So please, please, please follow me on Gumroad also, okay? And thank you guys again so much. I really, really hope you learned something. I'm creating a Facebook group for you guys. Well, on Facebook, The Nanny Lady, you guys will be able to post in there and write your questions and post up your screenshots of your curriculums or your routines or whatever you want to post in there. Please, please, please follow it, and you guys will know when you guys are able to post in there. Thank you again. And if you would like to get paid to share this course, just follow me and DM me, and I'll get you set up. You can get 50% on all referrals straight to you. So if you're a daycare owner, if you know people that have kids, if you know this will help someone, someone that wants to be a nanny, someone who wants to be a babysitter, they don't want to go to college for 4 years to get a degree or whatever the case is, this will help you in so many different ways. Get a head start. This will really help you understand what you need to be doing when you get in there, right? And if you have nannying questions on how to get a job or where to start a nannying, feel free to DM me. I'll probably have a course for that soon, but for now, let's get these kids educated, okay? Perfect. Thank you guys.